Okay, good evening everyone. How many are practicing the queries? Because day to day work ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is of no use. Let me tell you very frankly in this case. Joins concept explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, which is very important as I had explained in the previous class. So make sure that day to day you have to practice the queries in this case. So ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ನಾಗ we will be
Your voice is breaking.
voice is breaking. Okay, just a minute. Actually here the network is not that good. I'll reconnect. Probably the network may get disconnected. I'll send the link, share the link once again. Can you hear me now clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So voice is too low, sir.
Voice is too low.
Too low. Yes, sir.
Now can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, because I think I've not made any settings in voice. Let me increase it if it is low. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so last class we discussed about the concept of joints. In that especially we concentrated on three types of joints. That is, one was the inner join concept, where only the matched row data will be displayed on the as output in this case. And second, we saw the outer join concept in this. Outer join, we have two types in this. One was a left outer join, another is a right outer join. And in the left outer join, whichever data is there on the left hand side of the table will be displayed. It means all the data in the left hand side table will be displayed with matched data on the right hand side table in this. So if there is any data which does not match with the foreign key, then those data will not be displayed. Like I showed you one example where on the left side we have around 5 colleges which I have mentioned in the left side table, and right side we have around 13 students. So in that only those 13 students have only selected 4 colleges. So one college was not selected by any of the student. In that case, left hand side table, that is our TBL college, MST college, all the college names will be displayed, where those 4 matched columns will be displayed with the student data. The fifth college, which is not selected by anyone, that college name will be displayed with the null value in this case. So that was a left outer join, means all the data from the left hand side table will be matched with the matched data on the right hand side table in this. Just a minute, I need to send one more request. Okay, so then we saw the concept of right outer join in this. Right outer join, all the data from the right hand side table will be displayed with the matched data on the left hand side table. Same thing, you have to just reverse it, where only the matched data on the all the data from the right hand side table is retrieved from with the matched data of the left hand side in this case. Now we may think that like why this kind of a concept is required, because today we will have some extension on that. I'll tell you, and then we can start with the next concept in this case, where I have the list of students, I have list of master table for college, master table for course. Today we will create one more table, that is fees paid details. Okay, so I need to create a table where I will store the information of the students who have paid the fees. So I'll I'll start with the database. Okay, so this is my table where I have three tables: MST college, MST course, and MST student in this case. Now today's class, one more new table we will create in this. Two ways of creating: one is writing a query, second is using the front end in this. So query we have seen, create table, table name. I'll show you the how to create a front end table in this case. So on the tables folder, right click, go for new table, and here we mention the name of the column in this case. Say I'll put the first one is fees ID and data type is int. Second is student ID, because I need to know which student has paid the fees. So what I will be doing is I will be taking the primary key attribute of that particular table where the TBL student details exist. And it is always recommended that whatever the name you have given for the primary key, give the same name here in this. So give the same name here also in this, that is SID, and this will be int. Next, I need to know how many students, how much fees he has paid in this case. So fees paid, take float as data type in this. Usually it will be a integer number only, but sometimes what happens is if you are applying GST and all, it may go to a decimal values. So whenever it comes to amount or percentage, such numeric values, you must take it as a floating point value in this case. So I have taken that as a floating point data type in this. Next, I need to know the date on which he has paid. So I'll put it as fees paid date, or you can keep simple paid on, and I'll keep this as varchar of some 30. Okay, apart from this, like who has entered this, created by, because whenever you are storing some data, I have told you that you should always make use of created by in this case. Modified by, generally we don't give modified for fees. It should be either cancelled or it should be valid data in this. So I'll keep it as soft delete, and whenever the user wants to cancel that fees receipt, maybe he has entered a wrong data and all, so in that case he will click on cancel in the front end, but on the back end it will be considered as soft delete. Or you can just keep a column as is cancelled. So is cancelled means he is giving an option where he says the fees receipt is cancelled in this case. There's one more issue. So I'll be giving that option as is cancelled instead of soft delete in this case. And these are the data which are, of course, Ishte Irangala. There will be many other data also in the fees paid details. Just for basic understanding purpose, we will be using this concept. And actual data, that you should always capture it from the client. Like client will tell you what are the information that he'll be capturing in this case. We are just trying one sample example in this. Okay, so this is the information. First point, fees ID should be primary key, so set primary key. And second, fees receipt should not be entered by the user manually, so it should be identity property. So what I will do is, we have identity specification, click here, is identity, click on yes, and then save. He is asking me the table name in this. I'll keep it as TBL fees details. Second most important is here SID becomes the foreign key attribute. Whenever I am storing the information of the student, I need to know who has paid that particular fees in this case. So for that reason I have taken the student ID, and here student ID becomes the foreign key attribute, and that data will be from the TBL student details. So what I have to do is I have to set the foreign key for this. Right click on that column, go for option relationship, and then click on add, and here you get table and column specification. Click on this, and here primary key table you have to select TBL student, and here you should select the column in that particular table, that is SID. Okay, so in which table the primary key is there? The primary key is there in the TBL student, and which column is primary key? So here he is giving me an option, that is SID in this case. And on this side it will be table fees details, that is fixed. Second is here we have to select which column name is the foreign key in this, and we want SID to be the foreign key in this, and then click on OK and click on close. Now the table gets recreated, and save this table and click on yes. So once you can see here, whenever I select a particular column as primary key, allow null will be automatically empty. And of course here all the data are important in this. SID is important, so I should not allow null in this. Fees paid, yes, that is also important. When he has paid the fees is also important. Who has taken the cash, who has collected the cash, select that to be not null in this. And then is cancelled. Now is cancelled is by default we want to fill the value, so keep this also not null option in this. Let me change the data type here, varchar of sum 50, and save and click yes. Okay, so I have entered the data now. Now let us insert some data inside this. So to insert the data, go to the new query option. Okay, so here whenever you are inserting a data, make sure that you should have that name of the table in front of you, so that you can insert the data exactly in the whichever format it is mentioned, or should not miss any columns in this case. So insert into TBL fees details, open the bracket. In SID I need not enter in this case, so I will next enter FID, fees ID I need not insert in this. SID I have to insert, comma, next is paid on, comma, how much fees he has paid, that is fees paid, comma, next is created by, and last column is cancelled. So mention all the column names, values, I'll put it in the next line, open the bracket, fill the values. Now SID, that should refer to the TBL student, I'll consider it as 1. Next is paid on. So paid on, the data type you can see here is, the data type for paid on is varchar. So whenever the varchar values are there, except the int, float, double, such things, if it is a varchar, you must enter that inside the single quotation in this case. So here just mention some date on which he has paid the fees. Say we will consider it as 24/03/2022, separated by comma. Next I need to pay the, now here when you have given these in the bracket, you should not concentrate on this order. Whatever the order you have mentioned inside the bracket, you have to insert the data according to that order in this. So third is fees paid in this. So I'll assume the fees is paid is 5,000. 5,000 because float fees paid is float. So numeric values should be entered directly. And then we have fees paid is over. Next is created by, put some name of some staff in this case like Sachin, comma, is cancelled 0. So this is a query, select and then execute. One row affected means one row has been inserted in this case. Now let us have the same way. Let me take the second student record or third student record. So he has also paid on 4th. Fees is some 4,000 rupees. Execute. Next again fees paid by student whose ID is 6. On 24th only he has paid. So he has paid 5,000. Execute. Again some student ID 1 has paid again on 25th. Some 3,000 entered by Sachin only. Execute. So I can insert. Now suppose by mistake if I put 100, execute, it will give me an error. The error is because the foreign key constraint. We don't have a student whose ID is 100 in this case. So foreign key constraint holds true here, and it will not allow you to enter such invalid data in this case. So let me add some more data, because the more data we have, it will be nice to execute those queries. Say 7 paid on 25th only, same thing. And let me add say 8, he has also paid 5,000. 12 paid on 5,000. Okay, we don't have 12. 13, we don't have 13, so we will take 9. Okay, say some previous month we will take, say 2 roll number ID has paid some 3,000, and say on 12th student has paid say roll number ID 8 has paid 3,000. Okay, so like this the data is inserted. Let me see all the data once, like what are the information that we have in the table. Select star from table name, execute, and you can see all the data that is entered in the student list in this case. So they have all the fees paid information in the table in this. Okay, so this is how we inserted the data. Now coming to the next part in this case. Now I need to retrieve the data of the students who have paid the fees along with their name. So like I want to retrieve the data that is like fees ID, student name, mobile number, and how much fees they have paid. So there are some different columns. I'll mention it here so that it will be easy for you to frame the query. Like I want SID, I want the name of the student, his mobile number, and how much fees paid he has paid, and paid on the date on which he has paid the fees. And I need fees ID is over, name is over, mobile number. Okay, so I need to and how much fees paid. Fees paid is already there. So these are the information I will need to display in this case. And since you know that the data are from different columns like fees paid, paid on, and even fees ID, these three are from different table, and mobile number, SID, and name are from different table in this case, that is student name. So we need to use the concept of joins to retrieve the data. So for that, it is, of course, we will start with the first one, that is inner join concept in this. So in inner join, it will be mentioning the attribute names, and as I told you in the previous class about the alias names in this. So TBL student, I'll call it as ts dot sid, comma, ts dot student name, comma, ts dot mobile number, comma. Now we have TBL fees details in this case. So I'll call it as TBL fees means TF. So TF fees paid comma tf dot paid on comma tf dot fees id. So these are the columns which I need to retrieve in this. From tvl student as ts, because ts is a alternate name which I have used here, so it must be declared in the from clause in this case. Inner join tbl fees details, probably that's the name, yes, tbl fees details, and I have used the alternate name as tf on. The condition is the primary, now here the tbl student is a master table, tbl fees details is a dependent table, because the SID, which is a primary key in tbl student, is used in the tbl fees details as SID. So master table is here and this is the dependent table. So what we have to do is, in the condition we have to find one common attribute which exists in both the tables, and that column should be primary key at least in one table. So in that case SID is primary key in tbl student, so ts dot SID equal to tf dot SID. So here tf SID is a foreign key attribute and ts dot SID is a primary key attribute. So our condition matches perfectly. I want to retrieve all the data in this, all the matched data in this. So copy this, no other extra conditions, and execute. And now you can see the student name, their ID, their fees paid, and when he has paid, and what is the fees ID in this. But point is, all the student data is not being displayed. By this I'll get to know only the details of the students who have paid the fees. What about the people who have not paid the fees? I need to get their information also. Okay, so in such case I need to retrieve the data of all the students along with the students who have paid the fees. Understand this point? ನಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದು ಅವ್ರ ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿರಲಿ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರಲಿ, ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ದೇರ್ ಡೇಟಾ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದಾರ 13 ಜನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಫೀಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು. ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ನಾಗ ಸರ್ ನಾ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ರೈಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದ? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ ಟೇಬಲ್ನಾಗಿಂದ ಡೇಟಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗ್ಯದ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ TBL student details or you need it from TBL fees details. ಇದನ್ನು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, and other basis ಮೇಲೆ which join you have to use you can easily select in this case. Like ನನಗೆ TBL student details ನಾಗಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾಗಳು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಬೇಕು. those have paid the fees and those have not paid the fees, ಎರಡೂ ಕೇಸ್. ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we make use of left outer join. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ TBL student ಇಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಬೇಕು. So when I execute this, now you can see in the output there are huge number of rows with null values. So ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ null values ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ, I can assure that those are the students who have not paid the fees. Like as you can see, Shruti has never paid the fees. There are 2 Shrutis in this case. So both Shrutis has not paid the fees. Nane fees pay madilla. Raju has not paid the fees. Asha has not paid the fees. Vinil has not paid the fees. Anil has not paid the fees. So ಯಾವಾಗ ನಂಗೆ null values ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗ್ತದ, I will get to know, okay, these are the students who have not paid the fees, and even I have their mobile numbers also. So ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ it is easy for me to contact those students in this case and tell them to clear the fees in this case. ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ಈ ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇಡ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿಂದ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ನಾಗ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೇಬಲ್, ವಿ ಮೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಯಾವುದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಟೈಪ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆರ್ ರೈಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಟ್. ಇದೇನು ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸರ್, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಟ್? ಎಸ್, you can just change the name of the table, I mean positions, and left ಬದಲು now it is right, because I need to display all the students on the right side. Okay, so output is same, there is no difference. ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ನೀವು ಈ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಮತ್ತು ರೈಟ್ ಔಟರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫೆಚ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಈವನ್ ದ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ನರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಯು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್ನಾಗ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟು ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್ ಡೇಟಾ. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಡೇಟಾ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೀವು ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಒಂದಾಯಿತು. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸಿಂದು ಎರಡು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅದ. ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೀಸ್ ನಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಆಗ್ಯದ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ ಸಪ್ರೇಟಾಗಿ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದೇನು, ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದವರು ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋರು? ಎಸ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ by using one simple condition that is called as or clause order by. Order by is actually a constraint. Idu optional ada as usual, and since the name itself says order by antandra ee arrangement salvaga alphabetical order naga we can arrange the data in this. Idu alphabetical antalla numerical order nagnu ನೀವು ಹಾಕ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಲೈಕ್ ನಂಗೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫೀಸ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅರೇಂಜ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಬೈ ಫೀಸ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ನಾವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ನಲ್ ಇದ್ದವ್ರದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲರದು ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಯು ಮೇ ಸೇ ಸರ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದವ್ರದ್ದು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ, ಮಾಡ್ಲಾರ್ದವ್ರದ್ದು ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ವಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಟ್? ಎಸ್, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಇಟ್ ಬೈ ರಿವರ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ನಾಗ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ನಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಬೈ ದ ಕಾಲಮ್ ನೇಮ್ ಫಾಲೋಡ್ ಬೈ ಎ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ DESC, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ನಾವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಫೀಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದವ್ರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತದ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಫೀಸ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಈಸ್ ಅಬವ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೊ 12 ಯಾರ್ದು ಫೀಸ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಅದ ಅವ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ನಾಗ ಹಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ದ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವ್ನದು ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವನದು ಡೇಟಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ದ ನಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಲ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಬೈ ಅಂತನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಇದನ್ನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆರಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊರಿ. ನೀವು ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಏನು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ, ಅದ್ರೊಳಗೂ ನೀವೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ನೇಮ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ವೇರ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಆರ್ descending order or ascending order in this case. So this is one most important condition that we use, because remember, whenever you write anywhere select query, ಯಾವುದೇ select query ನೀವು ಬರೀರಿ, compulsory depending on the situation you should retrieve the data based on the ascending or the descending order. Okay, professional sites naga you can't have a data retrieved in random order. ಅದು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ you should get it in the ascending or the descending order, which is very important in this case. So today onwards, when you are practicing, make sure that all the select queries have these options. And every time I can't say that ascending order ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ. There are some cases where we retrieve the data on the descending order also in this case. So that is about the order by ಅಂತನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್. ಈಗ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸರ್ ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್. ನಂಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸಿಂದು ಫೀಸ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಷ್ಟಾಗ್ಯದ ಆ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ SQL. ಆ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸಿಗೆ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ದಮ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಗೇಟ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. Aggregate functions are the built-in functions that are defined by the SQL to perform operations on the columns in this case. Idrolaga there are very simple functions in this case. Like first one bandu sum antele. As the name itself indicates, sum is used to add up all the columns. Add up all the one particular columns of the table in this. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೇಬಲ್ನಾಗ 10 ರೋಸ್ ಅವ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಾಲಮ್ ನೇಮ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ, ಆ ಕಾಲಮ್ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೋಸ್ ಅವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಮಿ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ದ ಸಮ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ಟೈಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವು ವ್ಯಾರ್ಕ್ಯಾರ್ ಎನ್ ವ್ಯಾರ್ಕ್ಯಾರ್ ಅಂತವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಟ್, ಫ್ಲೋಟ್, ಡಬಲ್, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಇಂಟ್, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟ್, ಟೈನಿ ಇಂಟ್ ಇಂಥವೇ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಬರೀ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀವು ಇದರೊಳಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಂದು ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ AVG, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಕೌಂಟ್ ದ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾಲಮ್. ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಮ್ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡೇಟಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ರೋಸ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೋಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಆವ್ರೇಜ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ AVG ಅಂತನೋ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಗೇನ್ AVG ವಿಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್. ಅಂದರೆ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಮೂರನೇದು ಬಂದು we have a function called as count. Count will tell me the total number of rows that exists in the table. ಒಂದು ಟೇಬಲ್ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ರೋಗಳ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ ಅದರ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ನು ಇದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಥವಾ ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಎರಡೂ ಬೇಡ, ಇಸ್ ದರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್? ಎಸ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈವನ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟಾರ್. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇರ್ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಾಲಮ್, ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಇರ್ಲಕ್ಕ ಒಟ್ಟು ಟೋಟಲ್ ರೋಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟದ ಆ ಟೇಬಲ್ನಾಗ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. Next, we have one more function called as min. Min is used to retrieve the minimum value from the table in this case. Minimum value ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ನೀವು ಕಾಲಮ್ ನೇಮ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಆ ಕಾಲಮ್ ನೇಮ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ನಾಗ ಯಾವುದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗಿಂತ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅದ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ದಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ದ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಲೈಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ ಎರಡು? ಎಸ್, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ character type values as well as the alphabets in this case. So illi he takes numeric and characters. ಯಾವಾಗ ನ್ಯೂಮರಿಕ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಯಾವುದು, ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ. ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ ವೈಸ್ನಾಗ ವಿಚ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ಫಾಬೆಟ್ ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ASCII ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ A to Z ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ A is obviously the minimum value in this case, so it will retrieve the names which are having which starts with A in the starting position and it goes on to the descending in this. Next, same way we have max in this case. So obviously it is understood that minimum will retrieve minimum value antandra, max will return the highest value in this case. And illu ashte he can take a numeric value as well as a character value. Adra remember two things, when it comes to sum it is only numeric values, even for average it is numeric values. So ee reetiyolaga these are 5 important functions that we generally use. You know, the aggregate and barthe, but we generally don't use much for aggregate in this case. So these are most commonly used functions that we have in the MS SQL server in this case. So these are only theoretical functions. Let us execute these queries one by one in this case. First, to start with, as I told, I need to retrieve the total sum. Andre the total collection estada anteli I need to retrieve that in this case. So other salvaga select sum, inside the bracket mention the name of the column in this case. So name of the column naga fees paid from TBL fees details. Execute the query. So it is showing me total collection is 32,000 in this case. Simple output in this. Either ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ವೇರ್ SID equal to 1 and execute this. SID 1 he has paid 8,000 rupees in this case. So 8,000 rupees idu bandaga I have put a where condition. Sir nange date wise collection beku. Very simple, where you can say paid on, and it is a new character value, so single quotation laga say 25032022. So on 25th what is the collection? On 25th the collection is 12,000 in this. Ee reetiyolaga you can modify the conditions and you can retrieve the data. Like first query was without any conditions, just the normal query that was executed. Next I gave on SID, one particular student in the information basis mal tagobekagada, where SID is equal to, I'll put the SID of that particular student, and you can see all 3 columns in this case. E question is sari lilla no column name barligattada. Can I change it? Yes, you can change it by giving the alias names or alternate names. Hanga, very simple, you have to mention select some fees paid as total fees. So ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, total fees, and even here total fees. So I'll as total fees ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ now you can see ಅಲ್ಲಿ no column name ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಬದಲು now it is showing me total fees in this. So total fees paid based on the different conditions in this. So this is about the sum. Next ನಂಗೆ same queries ಮೇಲೆ I need to calculate the average fees paid. So same conditions I will put in this case. So here the function name is AVG. Now let me execute the first query without any conditions. Execute this. So he says total fees paid is 3,555.555 followed by 6. Sir heng bantidu? Very simple. What he will do is total fees eshtaಗಿದೆ 32,000 was the total fees paid, divided by total number of rows that exists in the table. Okay, so total fees paid divided by total number of rows in that table, it will give you the average in this. Now sir, how can I know what is the total number of rows in that table? In that case ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ count ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ, so we will use that. Select count of star, you can put from TBL fees paid or TBL fees details. Let me execute. So it is divided by 9. So you can put a simple 100% ಇದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ, no doubt in this. Just ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಮಾಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ let me do the calculation. So let us do a simple calculation in this case. 32,000 divided by 9, and you can see it is exact value 3,555.555.6 in this case. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ actually he has total columns ಅವನೇ count ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಲ್ಲ. I mean he himself has calculated the total number of rows, and then he has divided the average in this case. ಈ one particular student ಇಂದೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. So ಆ student in average fees paid ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ? In that case it is 4,000. On the total fees paid 12,000 ಇತ್ತು. 12,000 divided by 2. That is, there are 2 students. 2 times he has paid in this case. Probably 2 ಅಲ್ಲ, it is 3 times he has paid the fees. So ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is showing 3 times 12,000 divided by 3. It is showing me the value 4,000 in this. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ it will calculate the average of that particular condition. ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಿ ಆ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಮೇಲೆ it will calculate the value in this case. Next, so the last one based on the date, like ಆ ಡೇಟ್ನಾಗ ಒಂದು average collection ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ. In that case we have to execute the one more query here. Average, execute this. So average collection is 3,000 on that particular date. So 25th ಎಷ್ಟಾಗದ other basis ಮೇಲೆ he is getting me the values in this. This is about the average function. Same things is applicable even for the count. So just now ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, I'll change the name of the functions. Let me drag it down so that the queries are visible. Okay, so now let me have count, and here the count will take both type of values in this case. So I'll put fees paid, then I can give paid on, which is a character type values. Bad antandre I can give a star. So nange yav column name mention madidilla andre, then instead of keeping it empty in this case, you can just put the what you can say the star value in this. I'll star mention madidri antandre it will bring you the data in this. So you can execute these queries. So I'm getting 3 values for this. First one, he says total number of fees paid on 25th is 4 records. 4 people have paid fees on 25th. Second condition, I want to know the total fees paid details andre without any condition in this case. So there you can see count of paid on is 9 people. And third one, SID with 1 ama est pay madana. There are 2 payments he has done in this case. So ee reetiyolaga you can count the values of total number of rows, which is very frequently used. Remember this. Now count bhal use ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ because we need to know the fees paid data, ಅಥವಾ we need to know the total number of columns in that particular table. So ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ we have to make use of this type of where conditions in this and retrieve the data in this case. Next, so count ಆಯಿತು. Then we have a min and max value. Say min and max ಗೆ we can go for first fees paid details, like who has paid the highest value. So I'll put max. Numeric values ಅಷ್ಟೇ ತಗೋತದ, that is fees paid from TBL fees details. I'm just checking ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳಗೆ highest fees paid ಯಾರ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟದ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. So it is showing me the value 5000, and as usual ಅಲ್ಲಿ column name ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ as max fees. So I'm just putting a condition there like max fees ಎಷ್ಟದ retrieve ಮಾಡು ಅಂತೇಳಿ. When I execute, it is 5000 in this case. So I'll column name change ಆಯಿತು. Same way we can retrieve the data max fees based on the numeric values. So numeric values number student name is there. So what I will do is I'll put student name, and I have to change the name of the table in this case. So table name is TBL student, and max fees badlu max name. Of course max name does not have any sense, just for our understanding I'm using this. So max name is of course nande hesaru, because highest ASCII value is for V in this case. So it is bringing the data in this. Only 2 options, numeric values and character values. Empty kodlik barangalla. That is how we make use of the max value in this. Where conditions, you can put any condition you want, there is no restriction for that. Ade reetiyolaga we have one more function, that is min function. So min function also takes numeric and character values. So ಎರಡು execute ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. So here you can see min fees, let me change the max to min, the variable names ಅಥವಾ heading names ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Okay, execute these two. Now you can see the minimum fees paid amount is 3000. ಯಾರು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3-4 people have paid 3000, but ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is only telling me the number which is least value in that particular column in this case. And the name bandaga obviously Anil alphabet A has a ASCII value in this least ASCII value in this case. ಈಗ new doubt ಬರಬಹುದು. Suppose if there are 2 students, one name is Anil and another name is Arun. Anil and Arun, both names start with A. Then if I make use of min or max, whose data will be displayed? Obviously first letter same ittu antandra he will check with the second letter in this case. Anil naga AN is the second letter, Arun naga AR is the second letter. So R is the second letter iruthinda n's ASCII value is less than the r. So minimum function use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ Anil name will be displayed, maximum use ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ Arun's name will be displayed in this. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ it will fetch the data from the table in this. So these are some of the different functions that we have in the aggregate functions anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ in our SQL in this. And one more before that, we saw the order by condition in this. ಯಾವಾಗೇ ನೀವು ಡೇಟಾ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾದ್ರೆ, whenever you are using the select query, remember this, whenever you make use of the select query, compulsory you have to go for the order by condition. Without order by condition you should never retrieve any data. This is very 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 important. Okay, so that is about the aggregate functions that we have in case of SQL in this case. Next bandu the third concept, these are all very small concepts in this case. So next concept bandu, we have something called as wildcards. Wildcards generally eduk use ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ whenever we want to retrieve the string data based on some search operations. Like ಈಗ ನನಗೆ take example here only. So I'll erase these. I want to retrieve the data of those students whose name starts with A. Okay, A ಲಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಆ ಟೈಪ್ ನಂಗೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಮುಂದೆ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟ್ರ್ ಎ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಷ್ಟು ಇರಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಏನು ಬೇಕದು ಇರಲಿ. ಆ ಟೈಪ್ ನಂಗೆ ಡೇಟಾ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒನ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ಸಂಟೇಜ್. ಪರ್ಸಂಟೇಜ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎನಿ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಅದನ್ನು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ a symbol called as percentage symbol in this. ಈಗ select star from TBL student where student name ನೀವು ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಮೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು, ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು you have to make use of a keyword called as like. Okay, a very simple equal to ಬದಲು like ಅಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಸಿಂಗಲ್ ಕೊಟೇಷನ್ನಾಗ the first letter is A, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ any character, any number of character. So ಅದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ I am putting it as percentage. Execute this. We have two students whose name starts with A. First case naga Anil, he has NIL. Second case naga Asha, she has 3 letters. Of course, unfortunately eradu same letters ava, problem illa, but you can see one thing, that characters are different, but still those data is retrieved. That is because the name starts with A. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಬೋದು, ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಬೇಡ, ಯಾರ್ಯಾರ ಹೆಸರಿನಾಗ ಎ ಅದ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪುಟ್ percentage A percentage means A should be present. ಅದು A ಲೆಫ್ಟಿಗೂ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡಿಗೂ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದೋಸ್ ನೇಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ us execute this, and now you can see almost 8 people have A in their name in different positions. Student name, Sachin naga second position agada, Anil's first, Asha first, Rama it is second, Rani second, Rahul second, Rajesh second. Okay, udharla second idara, but I think most of them are second only. First case ashte, I mean Anil and Asha is only in first case in this. Ee reetiyolaga you can retrieve the data based on anywhere position in this case. Now you may say, sir ending should be A. ಅವಾಗ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ A, ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಹಾಕ್ರಿ. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕಷ್ಟು ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಎಂಡ್ ವಿತ್ A in this case. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ 2 people whose name ends with A in this case. So ASH first 3 letters, Rama RAM first 3 letters, percentage na ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾವ. Then we have the letter A in this case. ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ we can search the data. ಈಗ ಜನರಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ, student name, like student will come to this the lecturer or fees management ಅವ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಸರ್ ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಸಚಿನ್ ಅದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವನ ಹೆಸರು ಸಚಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಸಚಿನ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ನೇಮ್ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾನೆ. ನಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸಚಿನ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಂತೆ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಮೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇರ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಹಾಕಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಚಿನ್ ಎ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಬಿ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಡಿ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂಥ ಕೇಸಸ್ನಾಗ ನಾವು ಈ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಈಸಿ ಟು ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಮುಂದೆ ಸಚಿನ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನೇ ಹೆಸರು ಇರ್ಲಾಕ ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಡಿ ಝಡ್ ತನ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇರ್ಲಾಕ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಬಿಲಾಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಚಿನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಐ ಡಿ ಕೇಳ್ರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ನೇಮ್ ಸೆಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವುದರ ಕೇಳಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ದ ಫಿಲ್ಟರ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಈ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, 2 ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ತೊಗೊಂಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಲೈಕ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎ ಟು ಎಮ್ ತನ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಟು ಎಮ್, ಇಷ್ಟರೊಳಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಕಾದಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ನಂಗೆ ಆ ಡೇಟಾ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ. ದೆನ್ ಹೌ ದ ಸಚ್ ಡೇಟಾ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ we have one more wild card called as range operator ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಇಸ್ 2 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಅವು 2 ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ನಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ರೇಂಜ್ನಾಗ ಡೇಟಾ ಬೇಕಾಗದ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ. ಲೈಕ್ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಐ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಪಿ ದ ಕ್ವೆರಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಸೇವ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ವೇರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ನೇಮ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ನಾಗ ಎ ಟು ಎಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಬಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಎಲಿಂದ ಎಮ್ನ ಯಾವುದರ ಒಂದಿರಬೇಕು. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಎನಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್. ಸೊ ಎ ಟು ಎಮ್ ಅಂತಂದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತೀನಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎ ಬಿ ಸಿ ಡಿ ಇ ಎಫ್ ಜಿ ಎಚ್ ಐ ಜೆ ಕೆ ಎಲ್ ಎಮ್ ತನ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಮೇ ಡಿಫರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವೆರಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ Anil and Asha, these are the only 2 students. Let me increase the range to yes, and if we can add some data to this, yes, okay, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. P Q R, okay, we will take R. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, yes will be filtered in this case. So let me execute this. So now you can see R ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಎಸ್ ಇದ್ದವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಎ ಮತ್ತು ಆರ್, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ನಾಗ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಬೋದು ಸರ್ ನಂಗೆ ಎ ಟು ಆರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರದ್ದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಬೇಕು. ಆವಾಗ ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ ಎಸ್ ಟು ಝೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರೀಬಹುದು. ಅಥವಾ ಒನ್ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್, ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಪುಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಹಾಕ್ರಿ. ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಎ ಟು ಝೆಡ್ ಅಂತ, ಎ ಟು ಆರ್ ಅಂತ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕಿದಾಗ ಈ ಎ ಟು ಆರ್ ನಡು ಯಾರ್ಯಾರ್ದು ಡೇಟಾ ಬಂದದ ದೇರ್ ಡೇಟಾ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಒನ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಪುಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದಿಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಎ ಟು ಆರ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಡೇಟಾ. ಸೊ ಏನ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ದಿಸ್, ನಾವು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಎಲಿಂದ ಆರ್ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರ ಹೆಸರಿತ್ತು their data is not displayed because I told other than A to R bring all the remaining data in this case. So ee reetiyolaga you can retrieve the data from the range operator using the cap operator in this case. Okay, so ee reetiyog you can bring the information in this. Iga sir ide range okay, nang last letter should be L, means the name should not be between A to R and the last letter should be L. In that case put a L in the last. So na L last hakide antandra, now you can see, let me run this query, and now there are 2 names whose name first letter does not belong to A to R, and second condition is that their name ends with L, and number of characters can also differ because the percentage kottaga the number of character can be anything in this case. E reetiyolaga you can put one condition and you can retrieve the data in this. So e reetiyolaga the wildcards are most frequently used in our database. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ವೆಬ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ನೀವೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹಿ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಯು ಮೆನಿ ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫೆಚಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಟ್ರೀವ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, so this is about the one more wildcard, that is range operator. The last wildcard operator we have one more is underscore. Underscore refers to only one character ಮಾತ್ರ allowed ada, and the character can be anything. Okay, so ಇದನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ we will go for the fees details again. Select star from TBL fees details, execute. So these are the data that we have in the fees details. ಈಗ ನನಗೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ I need to retrieve the details of those students who have paid fees in the month of 03. Okay, 03. No, we can't. Il bada. We'll go with the name itself. Okay, so here I want to retrieve the details of those students whose second letter, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹೆಸರು ಒಳಗ last second letter should be I, last second. Okay, so ಈ ಟೈಪ್ ನಂಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ I will make use of student name like starting nag ಏನಾರ ಇರಲಿ, I don't care. Okay, but he says the last second letter should be I. ಆದ್ರೆ there is one more issue. The issue is next letter ಏನು. ಈಗ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಐ ಲಿಂತ್ ಯಾರ ಹೆಸರು ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಐ ಲಿಂತ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋರ ಹೆಸರು. ಬಟ್ ನನ್ನ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಐ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಐ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಅಲೌಡ್. ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ರೇಂಜಸ್ ಟು ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಐಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೆಟರ್ಸ್ನು ಅಲೌಡ್ ಅದ, and even null is allowed. Means Shruti's name will also come here because it is last letter I iddaga percentage will refer to null value. So you can see now. So these are all the students. Yellow and kade aur hesarna I ada, but ನನಗೆ yellow ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. It should be compulsory in the last second position. So that means after the letter I only one character should be allowed and it can be anything. ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ we make use of underscore. So when I put underscore means compulsory it is one letter and that letter can be anything. So I admala one letter compulsory ಬೇಕು. Execute this and now you can see Sachin naga I is the last second letter N ada, Anil naga I is the last second L ada, Sunil naga I is the last second and next letter is L. Same thing with the Vinil. So ee ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗ whenever you want to have one particular character at a particular position, ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ that character can be anything. ಆ ಟೈಮಿಗೆ ಈ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. So remember 3 wild cards I told about. First one was percentage, means anything and everything including null value. Null value ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಏನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ನಡೀತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಅದರ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ತೊಗೊಂಬರ್ತಾನೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್. ರೇಂಜ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ನಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ದ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರೇಂಜ್, ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಸಾ ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ not like. Not like ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the cap operator. So ಇದು cap operator you can use only inside the range operator. Range operator ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ, ಲೈಕ್ ನಾ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಅಥವಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಅಂತ ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ, ಅಂಥವು ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. it should be used only inside the range operator ಅಥವಾ range wildcard. So range wildcard ಹೊರಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಂದರೆ it is not applicable. Last fourth one is underscore means only one character which can be anything but not null. ಅಂದರೆ empty value ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಒಂದು ಲೆಟರ್ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಲೆಟರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯೊಳಗೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 4 ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕೇಸ್. Now any doubts you have,